So this movie came out this weekend called Star Wars Episode 7, and it seems like the talk of the town, so I thought I might as well make a video on it. There will be spoilers, but I'll warn you before I get to those. First of all, let me begin by saying I'm a big Die Hard fan. But this video has nothing to do with Die Hard, so why am I telling you that? Haha, derp. Seriously though, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I'm more than a casual observer. I mean, I saw The Phantom Menace when it came out, but I was just a small boy at the time, and it had great lightsaber battles, and the pod race was pretty cool, so yeah, I kinda liked it. I mean, come on, I was a kid, leave me alone. I tried watching episode 2, but I got bored and didn't even finish it. Anakin was just being emo the whole time for no reason. Episode 3 I still haven't seen, but I hear it's pretty good, and I just watched the original trilogy for the first time like 3 years ago and I loved them, and I see why they're so popular. The only reason I'm telling you all this is just to let you know that this is the opinion of a more casual Star Wars fan than some of the other people whose reviews you might see. Basically, this movie's as good as everybody says, and it did just about everything right that I could think of. Just enough nods to the original series were made while not relying too much on it, where this could be your first Star Wars movie you've ever seen and you wouldn't feel left out. The returning original cast is just as good as ever, especially Han Solo, and all the newcomers to the series are pretty cool too. I thought Kylo Ren was pretty badass as the new villain, but I think it's a little silly that he had to wear the helmet to sound more like Darth Vader when he clearly didn't need it. I mean, Darth Vader was a freak without it, so why does this hunk have to hide his face for any other reason than nostalgia? It's really more of a nitpick though, as I thought they did a pretty good job on this villain. And for all I know, there actually is a reason why he's wearing his helmet. What do I know, I'm just a doctor. As for the new heroes, Finn had a heart of gold and I thought he was very likable, while Rey was just a plain badass, constantly taking care of herself. And not to sound too PC or anything like that, but it's refreshing to see a female lead be done in a way that doesn't feel forced just for the sake of there being a female heroine. Pretty much all the characters are great, even the smaller ones with lesser roles were fun. I loved the real-life sets to this movie, they felt so classic, and I'm so happy that CG was kept to a minimum and was only used when they really needed it. The lighthearted humor was fun, albeit a little cheesy sometimes, but the original trilogy had a cheesy joke every now and then too. The overall pacing to the movie is another thing they hit the ball out of the park with, and the transitions from scene to scene throughout the movie being the same kinds of transitions that they used in the 70s was pretty cool too. Those transitions might have been used in the prequel trilogy too, but I still like it here. Alright, now I'm getting into the spoilers, so if you don't want to hear any of them, then pause the video, click the like button, subscribe if you're not already, share it with everybody you know, including the president. Like, literally everybody. Okay, you've been warned. Han Solo dying was bullshit. If we didn't get this new trilogy, we'd have assumed that he lived happily ever after, but now we know that wasn't the case. But while we're on the topic of Han Solo falling to his death, what logical sense does it make for them not to make a safety railing on this skinny walkway? It wouldn't have been that hard to make if they can make this planet-sized spaceship. The only reason is that the plot required it not to be there just to drive the point home that Han Solo was dead. I mean, don't get me wrong, it didn't make me like the movie any less or anything like that, but he was like the Daryl of the Star Wars movies, and they went there by killing him, and nobody seemed to riot like Walking Dead fans claim they'll do if Daryl dies. But I knew Harrison Ford wasn't crazy about more Star Wars movies, and as soon as I saw him confront Kylo Ren to try to bring him back to his senses, I knew he was done for. Because what sense would it make to have this new villain only to have him become a good guy by the end of the first movie? Another nitpick that I'd have to say I have with this movie that involves spoilers is that it felt a little too much like episode 4. And by that I mean Kylo Ren kills Han Solo to get himself some heat as a villain, just like Darth Vader killed Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4. And the new Death Star, aka Starkiller, nice nod to Luke Skywalker's original name by the way, having one fatal weakness just like the Death Star was kinda silly. Why wouldn't they have improved that flaw over the years? I think Family Guy made fun of that actually, I honestly don't know, I don't feel like looking it up. But it just felt similar to the first movie, and I hope Luke Skywalker doesn't get killed off in the next one just for Kylo Ren to redeem himself in the end, just like Darth Vader did. Also, are Rey and Kylo Ren aka Ben Solo twins? I didn't feel like looking it up, but was I just not paying attention and missed something? I did have to pee a couple times. It's another potential throwback to the original trilogy that I hope doesn't result in Rey, I am your brother, ugh. I'm just speculating at this point, and even if they do stay this close to the original formula, I'm sure episodes 8 and 9 are going to be just as good. But I am slightly worried that J.J. Abrams isn't going to be directing them. I'm sure they'll be fine just as long as they keep Lucas away from it though. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens gets a 10 out of 11. Even though I'm not a big enough fan to obsess over the series, I'm genuinely happy for the people who are, since they finally get what they've been waiting so many years for. But does anybody know how much Mark Hamill got paid to do this movie? Seriously, don't you want to know? Anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know how to end this.